Hello, and thank you for visiting. I wanted to make a short video about an experience which some call a Kundalini experience that I had about over 40 years ago now. In part because I thought it might be useful to people. It might open up some possibilities. And it also might save you some time, as you'll see as I describe it. It occurred at a time when I had no experience of anything like that, or even meditation. I didn't even know what the word meditation meant. I hadn't come across it. It wasn't part of my life at that point. At the time, I was doing a PhD at Cambridge University, and I was just getting on with that, and with no interest in anything to do with spirituality or meditation or mindfulness or whatever. So the setting for the experience was, I was in my office, which was actually a caravan in the garden of the Applied Psychology Unit in Cambridge. And it was a warm summer's evening in the late 1970s. And I was just sitting, working on my PhD, writing notes, reading up research papers and the like. And then from out of the blue, I just got this urge to sit quietly, close my eyes and count my breaths. It was an odd thing. I hadn't had such an urge before, but I did. I just sat there. I closed my eyes, sat back in my chair, and counted my breaths. And after a couple of minutes of this, I noticed a little kind of a ball of energy at the base of my spine. It was quite cold. It was very intense, very energetic, but quite small at that point. And then again, after just a short time, a minute or so, it started to move, and it moved very gradually up my spine. And as it moved, it extended. It wasn't like a ball of energy that just moved as a discrete ball. It was like the energy, I could still sense it down at the base of my spine, but it also rose up my spine. And I can still remember thinking very distinctly at the time, if this gets to my head, this is going to be very interesting. And but I was just watching this process go on with interest. I'd never had such an experience, and it was kind of interesting and unique. So it did gradually keep moving, and it reached my neck, and then it kind of swept across the top of my head. Just like a wave crashing on a shore. It just flowed over the top of my head. And at the same time as this was happening, it was accompanied by an incredible feeling of bliss, of joy. It was very energetic. It felt like life force itself kind of flowing up the spine, across the top of my head, and then out somewhere. I had no idea where, but it was a very dramatic experience. And it felt, as I say, I think it felt blissful, joyful. And so I just sat there appreciating this wonderful sensation. And I think I must have sat there for about an hour or so. I was the last one left working in that area, so I was undisturbed. And then after sitting there for an hour, I got up, locked the door of my office, got my bike, and cycled home. And again, I was living in Cambridge at the time, Cambridge in England. That experience carried on. It gradually faded over the course of about 2 or 3 days. And so it went from being that intense, blissful, highly energized experience. It kind of quietened down to just a pleasant inner feeling of happiness and more energy than usual. And it felt very positive, very uplifting. And it carried on, as I say, about 2 or 3 days until I went back to what I previously considered to be a normal. What then went on was like, I just got on, in some ways, I just got on with my life as usual. But it started off a period of about a couple of years of trying to repeat that experience. It just felt so wonderful. I wanted to repeat that experience. And I tried all sorts of things. I tried, different kinds of meditations. I tried silent meditations. I tried counting breaths, obviously. I tried doing mantras and prayers and all kinds of things and other experiences as well. I tried all sorts of things that I could think of to try and repeat that experience. And it never did. It was just that one kind of time, one remarkable experience. However, I have to say that in one way or another, ever since that point, I have had an ongoing interest in spirituality, in human potential, and working towards achieving and realizing human potential. So that may well have been the point of it, in addition to anything else that was going on. If you look around on the internet, you'll find lots of videos and stories of people sharing their experiences. And one of the things I notice is that a lot of those experiences, people were worried by them, troubled by them. They weren't easy experiences for people. But I have to say that the experience I had was wholly positive, very uplifting, and led to good things in my life, I think. I think it probably helped that I just had an attitude of curiosity towards it. It didn't feel worrying at the time, and so I just sort of observed with interest and then kind of went with the flow of it and went with the experience itself. And I'm sure that did help. And by the way, for anyone who has had such an experience and is still troubled by it or by the effects of it in some way, if you also look around the internet, you will find, certainly in this country, in the UK, and I think in other countries as well, you will find organisations devoted to those going through spiritual emergencies, and they can help and talk you through such experiences. At any rate, it wasn't something that I felt the need of, because I felt it was a wholly positive experience. So there you are. That was it. It's the sort of thing, I think, one of the things I conclude from it is there's no simple way in which you can connect a practice like if we call it a spiritual practice, something like meditation, with a particular effect. Some things just happen for no reason that we can figure out. And I think the best way is to just be curious about it, interested, and observe, and kind of and go with it. And I think if you are interested in better understanding who you are, then any kind of practice that takes you within and allows you to explore what is within you, I think you will find that to be very helpful, very useful. Anyway, I hope you found this interesting. If you're still watching, well done, and thank you for staying with it. And bye for now.